guys, so a couple of quick updates before the video. One, I'm very sorry there'll be no top 10 list this week, as it's just been going wrong, so I'll have to cancel it, but hopefully there'll be one next week. Two, cosplay's nearly ready, it's very exciting, we just have one more bit to order, it should all be ready for Halloween. All being well, if it's not, I'll try and get it done by mid-November. You'll notice I'm in a new room, yeah? This is my uni house. I don't know if you can see much behind there, there's Sweeney peeking out behind me. We all know that's one of my main fandoms. But anyway, it's a creative writing tip today. I'm very excited about this. I may have lost the comments, so I can't give you a mention. But if I find it, I will flash it up on the screen on the bottom. So don't worry, if you're watching this, you'll still get a mention down here somewhere. It was on character development. So I'm going to try and keep this video short and sweet, because the last thing I want to do, especially in creative writing tips, is drag it out too much. But as mentioned in the Q&A, the important thing, I think, if I remember correctly, is background, appearance, and I think personality. I have got some of my own work here. Yes, that's right, I write loads of, this is actually only 2 of about 10, maybe 20 notebooks I have. This one's filled with short stories, this one is about that much filled so far, so I'm working on this one. Thickest notebook I've ever written is about that thick, maybe? Pretty thick. But anyways, I've got a couple of just character descriptions in here, so I'll try and find one. So an example of appearance is you want to try and go into detail. The idea is you want to help the reader picture your character. I know that's pretty obvious. I'm just trying to find, there's one here. For example, I write Hunchback of Notre Dame fan, and I often use Quasimodo in quite a few of my characters. And obviously I may put a slight twist on him. So I'm trying to say, I wrote a description somewhere in here. I just wanted to say, disclaimer, I'm not saying my writing's really good. Here it is. Great way to start, isn't it? She carefully took in his features under the light of the moon, a mop of red hair over a pale deformed face. His eyes were a beautiful deep green, a large swelling hooded his left eye. His nose was flattened as if it had been sanded. He had large thick arms, and a large haunch where his spine curved. He only had 3 proper teeth. Her instinct told her to be afraid of him, but she wasn't. Okay, that's as much as I'm going to read there. But you get the idea. The idea is that what I've done is I've described him, so you can picture him. I'd like to think, as you listen to that, you could picture what Quasimodo looks like in your head. And if you've seen the Disney film, that's sort of what I went with, so you can work with that. And then I don't know if I have any on background here. Personality, I think what I try to do is, because you obviously don't want to make your work a clone of someone else's, what I try to do is I try to weave it in throughout. For example, I wrote about a character who I said he smiled, but it was cold and thin, so it's sort of, I think it's like a twist in a way. Either you get an aspect of their personality through that. I think I've got a little bit on background somewhere. I'm just trying to see if I can find any. Ah, here we are. This is from a story I wrote called Lost Memories. I can't find. Oh sugar, I can't find it. Let's see. Like a million times tried to fill the sky causing lose that. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Where is that in her window state? Ah, here we are. Now this one I don't give the character's name, but there is a bit of, I think there's a little bit of background and there's a little bit of, I don't know what you call it, appearance, that's what I was trying to say. Here's a very brief extract and another type of appearance, and this is one, so I think initially we heard Quasimodo's name, I could be wrong. This one you don't know the character's name, you don't really know much about him, but based on a very brief appearance, you get the idea this is not a character you're going to like. From an abandoned foxbarrow emerged a man in old clothes that hung loose around him. His grey-white hair hung loose around his thin face, heavily whipped by the wind. A squirrel scurried away in terror onto his gold-grey stare. Then there's a little bit more here just to say what he's doing, so it sort of gives a little bit of background. Reaching onto the shawl, he pulled out a small talisman, a snake winding round a skull. The eyes of the skull glowed red for a moment, reflecting in his own. Nimue failed, hissed the snake. You won't. He smiled and raised it into the air. Destroy their bond, he hissed. Make them forget. And that's all you're going to hear. So if you enjoyed that and you thought that was a good cliffhanger, yeah, you're never going to know anymore because I refuse to say anymore. Unless you get requests, in which case I might reveal more snippets. But the idea there is you got a wee bit of background, you got a bit of appearance, and you got a wee bit of personality there, I think. I'm just going to see, I'll have a look at this one quickly, see if there's anything about personality. I don't even know what story this is. I'm writing 2 stories at once and it's getting really confusing. I think you can get personality by the way someone says something as well. If you make use of your adjectives. Let's see. Here's one. Now you can see there's a character who does not like Maria, and you can sort of I'm just going, as I said, I'm going to try and find an extract, but you can sense tension between them. Like they're almost, it's almost like, and I don't want to bring up anything controversial here, but if you think of two conflicting points, one of them's trying to outdo the other. It's a wee bit like that. So Maria stood up and turned back to the mother. She was describing a dragon. She said calmly, "Nothing to worry about. You're wrong, child." The entire pack was now watching. The pack shaman stood facing Maria. "Many have been having this dream, a flying shadow, the land burning," he continued. "But it's not a dragon. No, this is something more, something darker." Maria raised an eyebrow. She often disagreed with the shaman, and this was one of those times. The pack leader emerged from his tent, hearing the commotion. He looked from his daughter to the shaman, and back again. "What's all this?" he asked. "There is a terrible judgment coming," said the shaman ominously, fixing Maria with a cold stare. Ripples of unease spread through the pack, blah blah blah. And many kept an eye on Maria, who seemed strangely calm. The shaman stroked his greying beard in anticipation. So you could, at this point, you sort of thinking, oh, he's waiting for her to fight back. "Dragons are often called flying shadows," she said smoothly. When you're always around them, you don't need to make vague guesses." So she's sort of patronising him, going like, "Look, I'm always around dragons, so I know what I'm talking about." The last words were filled with venom. The shaman clearly felt his sting. "Break it up," said the leader firmly. "But Benjamin," "I said break it up." The shaman retreated with a low growl. Maria did not bother watching, but her magic came in handy as he tripped over a root that suddenly appeared and fell flat in his face. Oh my goodness, I forgot about this. This was met by roars of laughter from the children in the crowd. You could see the shaman and Maria sort of fighting, and I think when I look at this, actually I haven't looked at this, but this is one story I haven't looked at for a while. So you can see him saying he was very cold towards Maria, like he's talking the way I said he was sort of doing this. He's thinking, right, come on, give me your next point. I don't really want to drag this video out anymore, but the idea is, based on those extracts, what I'm trying to say is, give enough info that the reader can picture it, and maybe if you're describing a sound they can hear it, but don't do so much that you're like giving it all to them, because that's just really boring. Your reader's going to be completely put off. And I know, I think you said, this is the person who asked the question if you're watching this, I think you said you looked over some of your work and it felt lacking. I think maybe the idea, what I would say behind that is maybe you've just not put enough detail in, maybe you've underdone it. I once met a writer called, I think it was Barry McCafferty, I think his name was. Some of you may have heard of him, I can't think of his name. But he said, there's a difference, you should be writing a book that readers can see, or that they can hear. And I know that sounds really weird, and I didn't understand it either. But what he meant was that you give enough that you can either give them loads of detail so they can hear it all, or you can give them snippets and they can fill in the blanks so that they can see it. And if it's just finding that balance. That's what I'm trying to put across. It's finding the right balance. But you need to get your character development right, build a strong foundation, give them an appearance, give them a clear personality. If necessary, it may not always be applicable to the story, give them a good background. I cannot stress this enough, they need to sound realistic. If they sound fake, your reader will be put off. So guys, that's the end of this tip. I hope I didn't waffle too much. I don't feel too happy with this one. But to be fair, this is only my first creative writing tip. And as I say, when you start anything, you can only get better. Unless you're really bad at something, in which case you can get worse. Anyway. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and no matter how bad it was, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it, guys. I just went on there and I got 17 subscribers. I think I gained one today. And I have to admit, whoever that is, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you subscribing. I hope you enjoy my videos and look forward to any future ones. Giveaway is planned eventually. I need to pick a milestone. I think I've got 2 or 3 giveaways planned. Not sure. But I've got some terms and conditions done. I will put those up at a later date. I need to get that milestone first. I'm not going to say the milestone because I don't want to put people off. At the end of the day, I appreciate you guys, so that's why I'm not going to tell you. There's just going to be a day, I'm just going to go on, I'm going to see my subscribers and go like, that's a milestone, I'm going to do the giveaway. So we'll see what happens. But anyway guys, thank you so much for subscribing, and thanks for watching actually as well, so probably say that because you've taken time out of your day to hopefully enjoy this. So I will see you next week. Hopefully there'll be a top 10 list, or we'll see what happens, and then around Halloween is the next cosplay. I actually also got a request to do makeup. So I love you guys, and until next time, bye!